All right, so looking again at where we are with this, what I want to do now is I want to bring in an interesting idea about the category, because what's going on here is they have in the textbook, they have this concept of a category, because a person could be a walker, an athlete, a runner, or apparently a person. And I got my tag, but I don't have a category. So let's do this. Let's make ourselves a category, and it's going to be an input, basically saying again, I'm deviating a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal here. Are you walking, running, or volunteering? That's pretty good. And let's do the question mark, the Grant Spencer prompting thing, and we do this. And so what I'm going to say is, sure, actually that's good. Let's just go run and have this thing go. So I'm going to show you an interesting trick, by the way, for debugging your stuff after we're finished this, because this is kind of getting a little bit gross. All right, so we're pretty confident that these prompts are working. We're now on a new one. So here's an interesting thing you can do to make your life easier. You can hard code some default values. He says, yes, that's right. I gotta remember where I am. I'm gonna hard code some default values just because, I'm gonna put in $100 there, and my tag is going to be, again, it's going to be another string of $1,000, and I'm going to comment this out. So what I'm doing here, guys, is I'm tired of constantly entering in my name all the time, so I'm just basically commenting those out and saving them for later. So now if I basically go W, I'm just testing the piece that I want to test. All right, so we got our category. That's awesome. Now here's something that's a little sad. Is that what's to stop them from putting a lowercase w like I just did, or an uppercase W? I want them to put an uppercase W. Well, this isn't you can't really force your users to do everything, right? You got to somehow clean up sometimes the data as it goes through. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make an assignment. I'm going to make an assignment. And I'm going to basically, right after they put their thing in, I'm going to go, the category is assigned the category upper. And right after this, by the way, just for now, let's print it. So print str category. All right, we're going to go run, and let's see if this thing actually does what it's supposed to do. So I'm going to put in a lowercase w, and notice it's now an uppercase W. I'm going to run it again. I'm going to put an uppercase W, and it puts in an uppercase W. So there is sort of an example of cleaning the data as it kind of comes in. So I'm pretty happy with that. All right, another thing I may as well do while I'm sitting here is, so here's my input. So there's my input. Here's my somewhat processing, and here's my output. I would also say that what I want to change my line to say, thank you for contributing. Your tag is whatever. Have fun walking, running, or volunteering. That's what I want to do. I want to basically go have fun walking, whatever, or volunteering. Well, how in the world am I going to do that? Well, it looks like I'm going to need another variable, which I'm just going to call in this case the string of activity. Okay, I'm going to go string of activity, which at this point I don't know what it is, so it's going to be an empty string. I'm going to run it, and I'm going to go W. Okay, so far so good, and that's down here. let's, your tag is whatever. Let's go plus have fun plus str activity. Good. All right. By the way, probably adding some punctuation would be good there. Okay, good. Let's actually do something important now. So here's our str activity. And here's where we're going to get a little bit of the if and else's going on here. I'm going to basically say if the str category, which by now, by the way, has been converted to uppercase, is equal to a W, and I can expect it to be uppercase. So if it's equal to a W, then the str activity is assigned walking. Else, the str activity is assigned not walking. Running it, it's accepting grant and everything else. I'm going to go W in lowercase just to really beat on that idea. My caps lock is off. I'm going to go W. I'm just going to go boom. And it says, have fun walking. I'm going to run it again. I'm going to put the uppercase W in there to make sure that still works. Have fun walking. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to put in O, which has got nothing to do with it. Have fun not walking. Great, right? This is really, it's all coming up roses now. This is awesome. Well, I've got three options here, running or volunteering. I could, just have three other if statements that follow this, you know, saying if the category is R, change it to running. If the category is V, but come on, we can't, plus we don't even know what to do with the else. There is multiple ifs we can do here. And so there is in this language a structure called elif, which basically means else. If this is true, then whatever. And so I'm going to go elif, the category is equal to R, colon, then the str activity is assigned running. Elif, the str category is equal to V, then str activity is assigned volunteering. Otherwise, have fun hanging out because I have no idea what they're doing. All right. Cool. So let's just, no, don't put punctuation there. We'll put the punctuation here if I want. So I'm going to go run. Again, am I walking, running, or volunteering? I'm just go V, have fun volunteering. I'm going to run again. I'm going to put the R in there, lowercase. Have fun running. I'm going to run again. Do the same test, but this time with uppercase. Have fun running. Putting uppercase V in this one. Have fun volunteering. We're going to put something else in there. Have fun hanging out. Awesome. Oh, is that a good test? Let's try one more thing. We're going to put in like $1,000, $1 million. Has no idea what to do with it. Basically, have fun hanging out. So pretty cool. And that's a very cool construct. And you definitely do see that in this area of the code. All right. Now, what they're doing in this area of the code is they're changing the tag so that if the tag starts at 1,000, and if the category is W, then it puts a W in front. It concatenates. That's okay. right? I've got no problem with that. So what I'm going to do here is do all that though as one process. I'm basically going to take the tag. I'm going to return the tag to the idea of it being $1,000 or 1,000. Okay, I'm going to make the tag 1,000. And honestly, what I wasn't a big fan of is if it's W, put W in front. If it's A, put A in front. Otherwise, put P or whatever, P. I didn't. It's not complete because it doesn't have the R in there, and we can't assume that the person's put one of these values in there. So what I have decided, you know, in my little act of rebellion, is if it's W, R, V, I can just put that right in front of the tag anyway. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a tag, which is going to be an str tag. This, by the way, is going to be an int tag because it's an integer. And the str tag is, at this point, currently unknown. We don't know what the str tag is, but down here we do now. We can basically say that the str tag is assigned the str category plus the int tag. Now, if and by the way, let's yeah, and str tag is being printed here. This will error out, and you, in theory, might know why. Maybe take a second, pause, see if you can figure it out. Now I'm going to run it. So am I walking? Whatever. I go W, boom. We've seen this error before. It's erroring out on line 20. So it's erroring out on this line right there. Right there. By in case you didn't see that, by the way. There it is in line 20. And it and there's line 20. So what's going on? You can't concatenate an integer to a string. So how would we fix this? Well, the category is already a string. This is an integer. We would use our str to convert this back, or sorry, convert this to a string. So now as I go run, and I put in V for volunteering, there's my tag, V1000. Pretty cool. And so we got ourselves a bit of a block going on there. We have ourselves doing a little bit of data cleansing here by basically changing it to upper. Now, what they did over here in this example is they constantly converted the thing to upper, which is okay. That's okay, right? You know, I'm almost tired of saying this, so I'll just or at least implying this. But here's the deal: it's very common for programmers when they're looking at each other's codes to have different approaches, and I'm very unlikely to use the term better or good, although it'll probably come out of my mouth anyway because that's just the way we are. But so just so you know, when I'm presenting a solution, my whole goal in life here is to help you understand what's going on here and maybe come up with alternative ways to solve the same problem that they're coming up with. All right. So anyway, so what my whole point with this is that I understand they're trying to demonstrate the if thing, but I'm thinking I would rather just have one variable here that converts it to uppercase, and that's kind of what I've just done. This guy here is converting it to uppercase, then do the straight comparison. That way I don't have to remember, do I have to put the upper here? Do I have to put the upper here? Do I have to put the upper here? You know, I basically just have do it once. And then the other thing was, is that I do appreciate what they're trying to do here. They're trying to say, hey, look, you know, we'll put a W here, we'll put an A here, we'll put a P, but there's no point. We're obviously just putting the category in front of the tag. So I just decided instead to make it a little bit more interesting by making my end more interesting. Let's go ahead and copy this and run this on our visualizer. Okay, so I'm going to edit the code, run it on the visualizer. And here's a really exciting part for you guys who like to watch code run. If you go here, I'm going to run it. And so, by the way, I've been going next, next, next. You are totally free here. If you want, you can click on this little doodad. Oh, I thought you could. Maybe you can't. Well, maybe you can't yet. I don't know. But I know that in theory, oh, I see what's going on. Okay. Well, not sure. Okay. Well, I'll just keep going. So there's our variable. I've commented out our inputs. Commented out, commented out. There's our string. He's empty. There's the category. Category is now looking for an input from me, right? So I'm going to, in this case, go R for running. Actually, I'm going to go lowercase r for running, and I'm going to go submit. There's a little bit of a jigger there, but now in the global memory, there's something called str category, which is R. Now we're going to see this guy go with the str, sorry, the categories are the activities unknown. So now we're down here, and it's going to basically say, take whatever's in here and convert it to uppercase. And watch what happens. It gets converted to uppercase. Now we're about to go into this block. And this block, this one command, if you want, starts on line 11 and concludes on line 18, well, or 19. So right now, it's going to say, is the str category equal to W? It's not, it's equal to R. So what we're going to see is it's going to go to the next comparison. Is the str thing equal to R? It is. So we're probably going to see it go into 14. And it does. It's going to go into 14. It's going to get set this thing to running. And then it leaves. It doesn't bother to continue to check anymore. As soon as the first thing is true, it leaves. Now str tag is going to get some loving, where it's going to basically put the category in front of the string of the tag. Notice that the tag up here, it's a number, it's 1,000. The str category is a string, it's R. I'm going to go next. And now the str tag went from being nothing to R1000. And now it's just going to all print this together. I'm going to go, and it printed it to the screen, and now we're good. Great. Now let's go back up to the first and run it again. We're going to go, and can I do this now a little bit more? Boom, 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 boom. Going to get to the input. We're just about to run the input statement. I'm going to go next. Oh, it won't let me run the input statement. How about if I did this? Boom, boom, boom. I was hoping it's going to prompt me again. Nope, it's just sadly going to remember what I did last time. That's fine. Let's exit. I'm going to run it with a without a W, R, or a V. So I'm going to go next, 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 next. There's the input. Great. By the way, this is free, so it's okay. I'm going to put in something that is obviously not a thing. I'm going to just put, I don't know, eating. Okay. So am I, well, I'm actually eating. Not one of those. I'm going to be a smartphone. It's a write-in. It's a write-in vote. I'm going to go submit. Has no problem putting eating in there. And then the activity is nothing. So we come down here, we change the category to uppercase, and eating now becomes uppercase eating. Is str category W? No, it's not. Is str category R? No, it's not. Is str category V? No, it's not. Then I guess you're hanging out. And this will be interesting, by the way, whatever. And so we're hanging out. And now we're going to make our little string tag, which is going to be eating 1,000, and then basically go. Boom. And we are now done. And that's what our output looks like. Really cool to do this a few times to get a sort of sense as to what's going on inside of your selection. Okay. So that's awesome. The other idea that's definitely inside of this program is this concept of we can only do this once, right? Have you noticed once we run it, if I want to get another tag, I got to run it again, and I got to run it again, and I got to run it again. We don't want to really do that. We like this thing to run as many times as we want until we're ready for it to stop. All right, so to do this, yeah, this is going to be a little bit gross, but that's okay. To do this at this stage in the game, I basically want something that's going to basically say, do you want to keep going? Do you want to keep going? And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a variable. It's going to be a Boolean variable, which I'm going to call keep processing. And I'm going to assign it the Boolean value of true. I'm going to assume that you want me to keep going. All right. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm realizing this guy's going to have to be near the top because I'm asking all those questions. So here's what I'm going to do first. I've just changed something called Boolean to be true. I'm going to bring back alive all of my my inputs. All right, so that's back to being alive, and this is back to being alive. All right, and you know what is really kind of cool too, just to, you know, it's not a bad deal to line up your stuff so that it's easier to read. Now, some people might not like that, and that's fine. Actually, you know what I'm realizing? What I don't like is that's what I wanted to do. So let's do this, bring it back. This is what happens when you have people who've coded for a long time. They get peculiar. But anyway, so let's do that, and let's push you over to that, and let's push you over to that. Let's push you over to that. All right, good deal. So in any program at your level, you are totally going to want to be thinking about the concept of input, processing, and output. You're going to want to be thinking about that. And in the example in the book, there's a lot of sort of mixture of this, and that's okay. But I'm trying to kind of force you guys to kind of go input, processing, output. There should be no variables that pop up in the processing thing that don't exist in your input section. That's why I went ahead and created a couple of empty ones, right? There's nothing saying the way Python is. I don't actually need to define, I don't think I need to define this, and I don't need to define this, right? Because what will happen is that str activity, if I didn't define it, if it didn't exist, in fact, actually, let's run this. Let's run this so you can see it. Let's edit the code and run it. So what we're looking at here is we want to look at the history of str tag in a world where I don't define it. Wow, you're mad. Why are you mad at me for that? It may be an infinite loop. I don't know why you're saying that. How about if I did that? Are you still mad at me if I try that? You're still mad at me if I try that? Wow, that's awesome. Maybe I won't show that to you yet. Maybe I'll just run it here because I don't see why that would be an infinite loop. There is no loops here. I'm going to go run. What's my name? Grant. I'm going to contribute $100, whatever. My tag is 1,000, and I am definitely walking. Okay, I don't know. By the way, that again, the visualizer, sometimes it messes up. It's okay. It's free. But what I want you to notice is that, look, it ran. Well, how did it run? Well, right here, str activity didn't really exist before, but it created it right at that moment in the processing section and then made the assignment. That's not really considered good form. I'd much rather have this thing created in the input section and then referenced in the processing and then the output section. Also, I'm not trying to communicate to the users in the processing section unless I have to or unless I'm trying to debug the thing. All right, so so I just a quick plug for that idea. All right, so what we want to do is we want to have this sort of run again and again and again, creating a new tag for each person. That's what we want to have it to do. So there is a construct for this, and it's basically a loop, which was sort of alluded to in a previous lecture. The problem with the loop, though, is that what I'm going to need is I'm going to need each iteration of the loop is going to need to do an input. That's kind of why I'm freaking out a little bit here. This str tag, that guy is going to be outside of the processing. The str activity flag is going to be outside of the processing. But I'm a little bit sad because each of these things are going to have to be asked every single iteration of the loop, right? So I wanted to run it once and put in this stuff. I want to run it again. I want to put it into this stuff. So for now, I'm just going to violate my own principles, and I'll explain it in a minute. So I'm going to go while, that's our slightly new thing. While the Boolean keep processing is true, then go ahead and do these lines. So I'm going to use tab here. Do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. By the way, this is processing. So let's push that out. Put it on top here. Okay. Okay, that was already tabbed. That was bad there. Tab, 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 and tab, tab, and then tab. And we are going to print with every single iteration. So we'll do tab, tab, and then print, all done. I'm not going to run this yet. So while the Boolean is true, it's going to ask all the questions. It's going to do some processing, and then it's going to print out one line. And then it's going to go and continue processing again and again and again until this is no longer true. The question that might come to your mind is, how do you basically knock it out from being true? And so what I'm going to do here is, once I've finished, tell you what, I'm going to create something called a string kill switch. The kill switch is going to be a string, and currently it's not going to have any value in there. But down here, I'm going to basically say, inside of my loop, the string kill switch is assigned the input, do you want to enter another, which the answer is yes. We'll talk about defaults later, but it'd be good to have that basically being a yes. Okay. Otherwise, we'll kill it. And so what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to go if the str kill switch, we haven't learned this yet, but if it's not, sorry, that's not the way you do it in this language, not equal. So come on, where are you, friend? Not equals. If it's not yes, we're going to be incredibly merciless on this one. I don't even care about case. If they don't put in a capital Y, so if it's not one of those, then keep processing is assigned false. So what will happen is we'll go into the loop on the assumption that we should keep processing. We'll ask all of our questions. We'll do all of our stuff, and then we will ask the kill switch. We'll basically go kill switch, are you a Y? And I tell you what, rather than setting it to nothing, I'm going to set it to no. So we're going to go on the assumption that this thing will only do it once. But they're given a chance to ask, and if they say yes, then great. If they don't say yes, and that basically means not equals, right? There you're seeing a couple of comparison operators. That's an equals, that's its not equals. So I'm going to run it, and it's mad because why are you expecting? I think you're expecting punctuation. Oh, punctuation is the death. Anyway, there's punctuation there, right? So, while this is true, colon, if this is true, colon, right? So I get it. All right, so we're going to go run again. What's my name? I'm going to go Grant. I'm going to contribute 100, and my tag is 1,000, and I am walking. Great. So now, thank you, Grant, for contributing $1,000. Your tag is this. Have fun walking. Do I want to enter in another person? Yes, I do. Thanks for asking. Oh, here's Fred. So here comes Fred. Fred's going to go big. His tag's 1001, and Fred's going to be running. Great. Now, do I want to contribute? Nah, I'm done. Out. Awesome. One more little tiny thing, and then we're good. But right now, I'm pretty happy with how it's working. Now, the tag thing is bothering me a little bit. I'm going to have to basically enter in 1,000, and then I'm going to have to enter in like 1,001 for every single person. No way am I going to do that. So how about this? Actually, where did I get the tag from? Oh, what is my tag? Okay, so we're not doing that. We're not going to add. How are they supposed to know what their tag is? They don't know. So let's go up to here and put the tag in outside the loop. I'm going to set the tag to basically be a straight 1,000. It's going to be 1,000. Great. But then down here, what's going to happen is that, assuming then, well, I'll tell you what. Yeah. You know what? Let's be bold on this one. So if the kill switch is not yes, then we're not going to keep processing. Otherwise, we are going to process, and we're going to go int tag is assigned int tag +1. Let's run it. Let's get our two runners or whatever we are. Here's Grant. I'm going to contribute $100. I'm walking. I'm done. I do want to do another one. Here's Fred. And this Fred's going to go big, and he's going to be walking it. Notice Fred now is 101. That seems to be working. Let's get one more person in here. Let's drag my fabulous spouse. And she's going to contribute this much. And she is totally going to volunteer because that's the kind of kind heart that she actually is. And I'm going to go one more, which is going to be daughter. I had another name come up, but that's fine. Daughter. She's going to contribute like nothing. She's going to be, I don't even know what she's going to do. She's just going to do that. And she's going to go hang out. Nah, I don't want to really do anything else. And I'm out. I'm done. All right, that's a very nice thing. I will put this program, by the way, I'll put this program into the content section. Okay. Boy, did I have one more thing I was going to do with that? Yeah, I did. Okay, and then I'll conclude this. And then maybe the next video will just, that really should give you enough to understand what's going on in this video. There's actually a formatting thing that's happening here, which I should probably explain. Yeah, there is a formatting thing I should probably explain too. Yeah, I'll do that. 2 other ideas, and then we're done. So first idea is actually a philosophical one. All right, it's a philosophical one. I was very, very lucky in my early career that I've had some tremendous bosses and tremendous mentors, and we'd actually talk about styles of code and all this kind of thing. And, you know, as I've alluded to, we all kind of, it's a judgment as to whether, you know, this is really better than the other, right? But my boss would have, and I probably will nail this more later, but he would not like this. Sadly, he's passed away, so I'm almost expecting him to thump me in the back of the head right now for this example. He did not like negative logic, right? He would have much said, Grant, rather than saying what something isn't, why don't you say, if it is true, do this, otherwise do that. And so what I'm going to do in honor of Lyle Kirkby is I'm going to basically say, if this is yes, so if it is true, do this, otherwise we're getting out of Dodge. And so there you go. And what I'll put in my little notes here is when possible, use positive logic, especially in this day and age. So that's one thing I want to do. And then the other thing I want to do with this is I'm a little nonplussed with the 100. Like, what if someone's going to put like 150 or whatever? Let's run it right now and see what happens if I do that. So here comes Grant, and I'm willing to contribute $100.50, and I'm walking. So it's okay, but I think what happened there is that I got a bit like 100.5 isn't an integer, and that's what this is supposed to be. The contribution is actually a string. That's even worse, right? So what they've done in one particular area here, which is kind of cool, is they've introduced formatting. And if you blink, you'll miss it, but it's right there. And it's, I know it's blurry. I'm assuming it's blurry to you, but it's blurry to me as well. It's a little bit of formatting. Now, it's another way to basically take numerical data and bring it into the into a string. And you know what? Let's just try this live. And by the way, this is very much of a Python-y thing, not necessarily the languages that I know. But here's our contribution. I've decided I'm going to make contribution not a string. I'm going to make it actually numerical. Now, if I am going to make it numerical here, this isn't going to produce something numerical, right? You can see that fail right away. Let's just run that. Let's go grant. And I'm willing to contribute $100. Oh, that's nice. Anyway, it's not, it's okay. It's actually failing because it's not a string, but trust me on this one. It is basically a string. I don't want it to be a string. I'd like it to be, I'd like it to be a float. Would that actually, yes, I'd like it to be a float. Okay, I'd like it to be a float. So if I want to make it a float, right here where I'm actually getting it, this would be the time to do it, I think. Yeah, I'm going to go float, make it a float. And then down here, where I'm actually referencing it, make that, that's FTL, right? Oh, FLT. Make that a string. Okay, so I'm doing a lot of data type conversions going on here, but let's see what happens. If I go grant, I go, and you're mad because float is not defined. Yeah, I can see why you'd be mad at that. I'm trying to remember what the actual conversion operator is, but you know what? That's my fault for even trying to do it like this. Forget it. I'm not going to do it like that. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do that conversion that I was trying to talk about. So let's get you out of the string for a second. What you're seeing here is there's the float. It's in parentheses. And there is, from the colon on over, is a conversion. It's telling the format you'd like to see it. So I'm basically saying, take this thing and convert it to a 2-decimal float. And the only reason this works is because there's a little f there. You don't see an f popping up anywhere else, this little f. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put that little f here, and I'm going to put this guy inside of the string like that. And let's see what that does. Where I actually probably want to hard code it. Okay, grant, and so you're still mad because FLT is not defined. Why am I saying FLT? Line 11, line 11. Oh, you're up there. Oh, no, the FLT is really not working. All right. That's fine. That's fine. I'll just take it like that. Oh, whatever. Okay. That's fine. Anyway, here's the thing. That's exactly what I'm asking for in the string. If I went :2f, I think I'm starting to lose my mind though. Let's try that again. G100 R. No, you didn't do it. All right. Well, if I really cared about editing my videos, I would stop now and cut off this last bit, you know, this stop while you're ahead thing. But I'm going to have to probably relook at that a little bit more to understand it. But certainly before I started screwing around with this, that would have been a pretty good video to look at. So I tell you what, let me, I got to reverse this anyway, because I want to to bring this guy back into the fold. So I'm going to take you, I'm going to make you back into a string, and I'm going to take you and drop that. And I think we're good. Get rid of that F for now and come back and put G 100 and R, and looks like that's working just great. No, and I'm out. Okay, that's the code I'm going to stick with. And then maybe a little mini video on that particular formatting thing, or I might just ignore it. I don't know. I mean, it will come up again, so we probably do have to get more familiar with it. And then, of course, what I would like you to try for this week. All right, so we'll talk soon.